Good evening, colleagues. My name is Dr. Gina Garcia, and it is with great honor that I present to you the next award, the Bowen Distinguished Career Award. The Bowen Award is presented to an individual whose professional life has been devoted in substantial part to the study of higher education and whose career has significantly advanced the field through extraordinary scholarship, leadership, and service. The award is usually presented at or near the time of the individual's retirement. It is with great honor that I present the Bowen Distinguished Career Award to Dr. Estela Mara Bensimon. I'm going to give y'all an opportunity to clap to you. Clap. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that her nominator said, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I think and why her work has had such a significant impact on my own work and the field overall. So one of her nominators said, Dr. Bensimon is one of the most important, prolific, accomplished, and well-respected higher education researchers. Opportunity, equity, and justice have always been at the center of her scholarly agenda. Her expertise on these topics have greatly advanced our field. And I would agree 100% with those words and many of the other words that the nominator said, that she's had a tremendous impact on the field, that there are many ideas that some of us draw on, that many of us draw on as critical scholars, that she really helped to advance, particularly within the field of higher education. Her early work, you will find that she drew on feminist theories. She's been drawing on critical race theories and decolonial theories and organizational theories and historical theories, like all at the same time. And those are the theories that have allowed her to deconstruct larger structures, which is, as we know, those of us who are doing social justice work and equity and justice work, we have to be able to break down those systems that have been historically oppressing us. That it's not just enough to look at the people, but to look at the larger structures and systems within which people are operating in that are preventing them to achieve greatness or to achieve whatever it is they're going after. And she does that. She looks at the systems, the larger structures, and has given us tools to do the same. And I think that's the important part of her work, is that there's tools. The book she's written, the center that she's been running for the past 20 years, like there are actually tools that help us do this work. So she's definitely had an impact, great impact. For my own work, I talk a lot about equity mindedness and race consciousness. And I recognize that she's been one of the leading scholars to push some of those ideas and to help us understand those ideas within higher education. So when I talk about those things, I can hear her in my head. I can hear the things that I've read, her work. And it is a great honor to know her and to be able to learn from her work. I also recognize that the work that she's done for the past 30 years as a scholar, as a woman of color, has been critical for paving the way for those of us that would follow. I think we have to honor and respect that and respect her for that, to know that she's been doing the work that we do now, but at times when maybe it wasn't as easy and it wasn't as acceptable for a woman of color to stand up and say, this is racist. That hasn't always been acceptable to do. And she's been doing that. And she made it so that those of us that would follow could do that too. And that's what I appreciate about her work, that I'm able to stand up and say, higher education is quite grounded in racism or white supremacy or white normative standards, and know that it's okay. And that I have scholarship and scholars who have taught me how to give evidence of that, so that it doesn't sound off the wall, that there is actual evidence of that. And we can show various ways in which those things manifest themselves within higher education. So I appreciate you. I thank you, Dr. Bensimon, for paving the way for scholars of color, women of color, Latinas, those of us who have been at the margins, and for you to help to make it so that we could come up and follow and continue to do this work and follow in the footsteps that you've been paving for us. So thank you, and help me, colleagues, and once again expressing our great excitement for Dr. Bensimon in receiving the Bowen Award.
Hello, everyone. I wish that we could be meeting in person, but we're here in the midst of the pandemic. When I heard that I had been given the Howard Bowen Award for a distinguished career, the first thing that I thought about was the first time that I attended ASH, which was 38 years ago in 1982. At that time, ASH was a very small organization, and we met only for one day. It was in connection with the annual meeting of the American Association for Higher Education. And it was the place to go to, particularly as a graduate student, because it was where you met everyone that you were reading in your courses. And of course, I am sure that Howard Bowen was there as well. Howard Bowen is best known for his book on investment in learning, which was a staple in higher education courses, at least when I was a graduate student. And I am sure that most of you have heard of the book. But he also wrote another book, a less well-known book, which is titled The Social Responsibilities of the Businessman. And if he was writing that book today, he would probably say businessman and businesswoman. But the reason why I mentioned this book is because it's so relevant to what is going on today in our nation, in our world. What Howard Bowen wrote about in that book was that we had to fight against the greed and acquisitiveness of wealth and to fight inequality in wealth. And it seems to me that that book is so very relevant today when we're seeing inequality in incomes, as well as other kinds of inequalities growing in our country. So I wanted to mention that because it also spoke to me about the importance of us as higher education scholars to use our knowledge and our scholarship to combat inequality, stratification, white supremacy, and racial injustice. So I think it's important that we remember that contribution that Howard Bowen made so many years ago that is so relevant today. Now about ASH. ASH has been with me every step of my career. It was at ASH where I learned how to be a researcher, how to be a scholar, how to be a colleague, and it also helped me develop my own voice and my own identity. ASH also gave me the permission and the safety to violate all traditions that were at the time outdated. When we get awards like this one, I often think that they are inscribed with the goodness and the influence of many others. And for me, that is very true. When I heard about this award, the images that come to mind are those of Bob Birnbaum, who was my teacher and mentor at Teachers College, and of my many academic partners, writing partners, Bill Tierney, Anna Newman, and Brian Pusser, and Ana Martinez Aleman, as well as friends that I have made at ASH, Sheila Slaughter, Gary Rhodes, and so many others, as well as students, in particular for me, Kelly Ward and Marta Soto, both of them who were my first PhD students, both of them dying much too early. I hope that when you're hearing this, we will be celebrating the return of human decency and democracy and the end of demagoguery, and that we will be looking forward to 4 years that we can be proud of.